Welcome to Jefferson Liberty Radio, the voice of liberty in the Central Valley of California. I'm Matthew. I'm actually back, so that's fun. This isn't pre-recorded anymore. I'm here joined, as always, by John and Aaron. How are you gents doing tonight?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty well. Just settling back in.
Great to have you back, Matthew.
Great to be back.
Excellent. Well, we have a highly anticipated show as promised tonight. We're with Mr. Shannon Poe from American Mining Rights Association and the Walk for Liberty from his current walk that's going on to bring us all together in the name of liberty and stop the overregulation. How are you, Mr. Shannon Poe?
I'm a little tired today. It's pretty hot. But
right.
The nice thing is that, we've been on the road now we left 11 days ago, and we've walked 252.5 miles out of 312. So we see the finish line, it's in a couple of days. We actually end the walk on Sunday, but boy, it's been quite a ride. But today was very hot, and Jerry, who is one of two of us that's walking, myself and Jerry, he's kind of my right-hand man. He does all of the routing and the coordination on the GPS and all of that, where the midpoint is, because we do 25 miles every single day, no matter what, rain, shine, sleet, hail, snow, whatever. We walk 25 miles. So I walk 12 and a half in the morning, and then he walks 12 and a half. And, I came through Sonora, heck of a lot of state of Jefferson folks in there. It was really pretty cool. We were at the county courthouse, the little lawn there, and the media was there. There were a couple of county supervisors that were there. And anyway, when I left there, I kept walking, and I'm like, well, my feet are telling me it's 12 and a half miles right now. And I kept walking and walking and walking and walking and walking. And finally, he says, okay, this is the halfway point. And hell, we were clear over in Chinese camp, and I started in Tuttletown.
Wow.
So we figured it out. It was pretty close to 16 miles. So he made a little error in his judgment on the GPS, and then he got a little shorter walk today. So for him, but we won't be doing that anymore.
Well, we were closer down here into the middle of the state where it's warmer, and he wanted to do a little less in the heat, probably. Huh?
Yeah, I think it was an honest mistake. He's as honest as the day is born. That's why I surround myself with people like him. But,
right.
This is the first time since 11 days ago that, because we're only about 15 miles from my house, so I'm actually at home tonight for the first time in nearly 2 weeks. So I'm going to sleep in my own bed tonight, and he can sleep in the trailer down there.
I'm sure you won't want to get up in the morning.
Yeah, actually, we got used to it pretty quick. It was about after the third day, the soreness of the legs wore off, and the blisters, we figured out how to tape those up on the feet. And then it's just about, keeping your head down and plodding along. But I got to admit, guys, and I don't mean to be long-winded here, but it's important that how humbling this walk has been ever since the start, clear over in Vinton, near the Nevada border. We have had overwhelming support from the ranchers, the farmers over there. When we came up to starting to climb the Yuba Gap and came up over the pass, there was a lot of logging, and the loggers were just, they wanted to stop and talk and tell us about their problems. Same thing with the ranchers. They have water issues. But everywhere, all along the way, people are talking about, overregulation and how it's destroying their business and their livelihood, and they don't know how to send their kids to school and, put food on the table and things like that. It's just that California is so far out of control that, a lot of these folks are thinking about moving and closing their businesses. Sad.
Well, it's becoming difficult for all of us, and I understand that's part of the reason for the walk. You guys are cognizant of this fact.
Well, you're exactly right. Is really what it's about is trying to make people understand that, your fight is our fight and our fight is your fight. Meaning that if you take, any group that you pick out of the blue, whether it's the off-roaders, the ATV riders that, are facing problems down in Pismo, or the loggers that are facing problems up in, Sierraville, to the small miners throughout the entire state. We're all being put under the thumb of basically a tyrannical run government here in California. And we've always fought our fights by ourselves. And, the farmers have, the ranchers have it, all these other people. And what this whole walk is about is to bring everybody together, to unify them and say, look, I'm not a farmer, but you know what? I'm going to start sharing all of your issues with everybody else and get everybody involved. And that's really what this is about, is it's to unify this. And then, as you guys know, next Tuesday, we have a big rally at the state capitol on the South Lawn, and we hope everybody and their brother shows up to that. We already know we've got the Ranchers Association is going to be there, the Hound Hunters of California. There's going to be small miners up the Yin Yang. State of Jefferson is going to obviously have a heck of a presence there. We've got fishermen, off-roaders, a lot of different groups, and so it's really starting to bring people together.
All right, power in numbers is an important thing, absolutely.
Exactly.
So I've been following your videos and such on Facebook. I understand there's an issue with the shadow banning going on, huh?
Yeah, that started about the third day. I think that, we all know Facebook doesn't like anything conservative, and they certainly don't like liberty, and, those, they don't even like the word liberty. And so, yeah, we were getting shadow banned because we would post a video and, between 4,000 to 7,000 people would be viewing it and seeing it. And then after the third day, that dropped down into the hundreds. And you can see the numbers. It's just as clear as day. And so we've been encouraging people to share, on their own pages and things like that. And so people are actually viewing it. We can see the numbers, but, they do what they do. And it's really kind of sad. I guess that there's a new social media that is coming out called WeMe or MeWe or something like that, that I think is going to probably gain some traction if they don't censor people and insert politics, and at least that's my hope. But in the interim, that's kind of what we have to deal with, is crap like that. And we've dealt with that on our AMRA page for years. They get a bug up their butt, and the next thing you know, we get our videos and our posts are being shadow banned, where we've reached as many as 70,000-80,000 people with some of our AMRA posts, and the next thing you know, you got 300. You go, well, how does that even happen? Well, there you go.
Right. Well, and they blame it on the algorithms and all that. So.
Yeah, and that's just not true. They've had enough people that have turned on Facebook and actually exposed them, and I don't believe a damn thing Facebook says, to be honest with you.
So, are you looking forward to the end of the walk?
I am. It's kind of sad. Last night, John, was my Lisa's birthday, and this is the fourth one out of the last 5 that I've missed because I've been either traveling for AMRA or speaking or doing this walk for liberty, and and it's kind of it's disheartening to not be there for her. Although I have something very special planned for her when this is over next week, it still makes it tough. But we're tired.
Right.
Over to it, and we're looking forward to the end. But I tell you, it's kind of cool though. We've done so many days and so many miles now that there's no soreness. There's we don't get really that tired. It's just, you do what you got to do, and sometimes you have to sacrifice, I think, to bring everybody together, and that's what we're willing to do.
Right, and I'm very impressed that there's so many people showing up to greet you along the way. I didn't expect that at all.
We've had a real strong presence. Probably, if you really picked one group that was out there in force, that stands above all others, and that would be Sid Jefferson. I just hands down. We met Stacy Albright, which she's quite a character. She tagged with us for, I think, 2 days. so we'd walk past her. She had a whole bunch of people lined up, and I think it was San Andreas. I can't even remember. The towns are all kind of a blur to me. But and then the next thing I know, I run into her about a mile and a half up the road, and then I run into her about 3 miles up the road, and then another 3 miles up the road, and it was kind of cute, you know. But the state of Jefferson, we can't thank them enough, and you know they've been very, very supportive, and it's really been humbling, like I say.
Right.
We were thinking today about how many people we would hear derogatory comments to or a thumbs down, and I think since we've started 252 miles ago, we've had 10 people give us the thumbs down, and we had 3 people without even knowing anything about us. I was just walking with a backpack and an American flag and a yellow shirt. There was no logo, no nothing. And 3 people walking through Grass Valley said, F the American flag.
Wow.
That's
and
shameful.
that's really disheartening. I mean, there were younger folks, and so, you know, but that's part of the indoctrination process that they're doing, is they're teaching these kids really to hate America and that America is oppressive, without them actually realizing that the reason they get to say things like they say is because of the liberties that were created in our founding documents, and they just don't get it. So, you know, 10 people out of 20,000 probably, you know, we're kind of anti-flag, anti-liberty. So that's pretty small, a very, very small number when you look at it in the big picture.
Right, but I can only imagine the letdown that you get when those events happen.
Yeah, it's really kind of shocking to hear somebody say that to your flag, which, you know, it represents liberty. You know, but people are going to be like that. I mean, I think that you could probably find somebody right now that thinks, you know, Charles Manson is a hero. You know, there's people that think that Margaret Sanger and people like that, you know, advocated for infanticide and genocide and things like that would support that. Well, you're always going to get those extreme people that have those points of view, and, you know, and they're just always going to exist. So I don't pay a whole lot of attention to that, and I don't let it really bother me. We had a guy that a couple of days ago, when we stopped, we'd walked 25 miles. We were cooling Jerry down, and we parked in this big turnout area. Well, it turns out it was the guy's driveway, and he just absolutely went nuts. F you, you know, F the flag, you guys don't, you know, stand for liberty, you know, on and on, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, look, buddy, I'm sorry that we inconvenienced you. We'll be out of here in a minute, you know, just calm down, we'll move. And he kept going on and on and on. And then, you know, and I have a limit to my patience. And he finally got to the point where he was like, F your friends, F you, F the flag, and that was it. And I'm like, all right, you know. So I just kind of returned the same language to him, and he pulled up, and we packed up, and we left. But, you know, it's really sad. You can't even talk to these people, because you try to say something out, you know, to explain, hey, this is what we're doing. They just won't have any part of it. They just want to shout you down.
Well, they don't. They don't care what's happening with anyone else, and you know, unfortunately, turn the other cheek only goes so far these days. We have to.
I agree with you. And I 99 out of 100 times I would turn the other cheek, but there is a limit. Kick my dog or threaten my wife, and you'll get both barrels. But
right, and at the same time, I mean, we can't allow them to continue to tread on us. So I'm not worried about or upset about having to, you know, stand up for ourselves every once in a while.
But, you know, realistically, it's been a phenomenally successful walk and unifying. And every single town that we've gone through, you know, people honking, waving, thumbs up, on the road. It doesn't matter where we're at. It's just all kinds of support. But I tell you, you know, on a different note is, and don't let me forget to tell you about all the things that we found, but good God, people throw a lot of trash away, and it's disgusting. I mean, it literally, is disheartening to see how much trash people throw out their windows. It's just sickening.
Well, that was kind of where I was going to go next. The table of treasure.
Well, yeah, that's only half of it. It was kind of funny
we need another video.
Well, we're going to do that. We're actually going to do that Saturday night, and because the second half of all the things that we found, we'll post up Saturday night, and then we'll film the whole entire selection, and then people can make a choice. But Super Grover right now is winning. But I found a heck of a nice 12-inch Vermont American crescent wrench. Somebody just dropped it probably the day before, so it's not even rusted. It was oiled, and yeah, it's a nice crescent wrench. Heck, I'll use that all the time.
The tow hooks, crescent wrench, you got a whole backup supply for your towing needs right there.
Yeah, exactly. But it was kind of funny is after we shot that first video, and I think that was, that was over around, I think we were in Coloma when we shot that. But anyway, we were talking about how we had this, just a garbage bag laying in the trailer that we were pulling, and we were thinking, good gosh, we need a garbage can. And I started the walk 20 feet from the truck. I found a brand new kitchen garbage can. No kidding. So we have a perfectly good kitchen garbage can right now that fits our bag in our trailer. So It's kind of cool, you find things like that. But we've seen in a couple of towns, what is that one town over there? North San Juan, needles all over the road. So they got a drug problem there, big drug problem in North San Juan. But I mean, you find it probably wouldn't surprise you some of the things that we found. We found some type of weird women's, like a sadistic type of an outfit that I'd never seen anything like that before.
Well,
laying on the side of the road.
Probably better on the side of the road than in someone's closet.
Yeah, it could be. But I found yesterday 50-inch big screen TV. No kidding.
Non-operational, I'm assuming.
Well, no, it looked like it was fine, but what the heck? I'm not going to pick the damn thing up. It's probably wasting time. Where am I going to put it? I already have enough TVs. I don't need another one. But it's just weird, the things that people throw away.
I understand someone served you something on a silver platter today?
That was really shocking. And you have to hear the story about this whole beet thing. So my buddy Scott Keogh, he lives up in Plumas County, all the way almost where we started. And years ago, we did a veterans outing, and it's something that we do for wounded veterans. We hold an outing. We don't publicize it. We don't take pictures. We don't do anything like that because it's not about AMRA or us. It's just about taking out 25 veterans, and for a weekend, we put them up on a mining claim, and we teach them how to gold pan and dig in the gold or dig in the ground, and and all the gold that they find collectively, we divide it into 25 bottles, and everybody goes home with, a nice little bit of gold. And so anyway, I'm on my way up to that veterans outing, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and I stopped in Downeyville at a little cafe, and I just grabbed a sandwich, a ham sandwich. I looked at the board, and it said ham sandwich special sauce, and I went, okay, I'll just take that. So I get it in a little container, and I'm in my truck driving up this windy road, and I go and take a bite of this damn ham sandwich, and this red juice runs all down the front of my shirt. I'm like, what the hell? And I tasted it. It just tasted horrendous. They sliced beets and put beets in between the ham and the cheese on the sandwich, and that was allegedly their special sauce. Who the heck does something like that? Wow. It tastes horrible. So ever since then, and I told Scott about that when I got up there, he made fun of my shirt, and I'm like, look, dude, somebody put freaking beets in my sandwich. I don't know why. So ever since then, he'll mail them to me. He'll send me pictures. I got a coffee cup that says, I love beets, all this kind of stuff. So this morning, I'm 4 miles into this walk, and the road got really super narrow, so I had to cross to the other side. And he obviously knew that, whoever put it there, knew that I would cross to the other side, because right over the the little hill there where the road was, the cars wouldn't be able to see it, was literally a brand new silver platter with a can of beets sitting on top of it. And I just stopped in my tracks and went, you gotta be kidding me. I'm 200 miles from this guy and he puts it here. So anyway, it was hilarious. It really, it was one of those levity moments that I really needed. So, but you want to talk about a narrow road and some dangerous stuff. I got put into a rock wall by a Prius back in, on the North Fork of the Yuba out of Sierra City, bashed up my leg. And I mean, the lady, and we have chase vehicles with a 6-foot by 4-foot banner it's white, and it has giant caution, pedestrian on roadway, and we run our flashers. And we had 2 other vehicles, one halfway in between the walker and then another one up ahead of the walker, looking for whatever else. And this lady came around the corner, and I'm standing literally in the ditch, and she drove off the road into the ditch, and I had to jump against the rock wall to keep from getting hit.
Wow.
Well,
I don't know how she even saved her car and kept it on the road, because she literally drove off the road. I don't think she was trying to hit me, but she came pretty damn close.
No, as a commercial driver, I can honestly tell you, people don't try to hit you. They just see you there and like steer towards you. It's not like they're trying to hit you, but they're not smart enough to maintain lane control sometimes.
Yeah, well, and this was all in a flash too, so I didn't really get a chance to look at her or anything like that. But other than that, we haven't had any close calls. There's a lot of really narrow stretches, but we've seen quite a few dead rattlesnakes, but no live rattlesnakes, thankfully. If anybody would see them, it would probably be me, because I was walking in the morning, and they like to warm themselves up on the roadways. But did see a bear coming up the Yuba Gap, and we had one that come into our camp. I think the next day down on the Yuba as well, and then we ran into 2 of them when we were coming up out of the Yuba towards North San Juan. We had one right there in front of me. He got within 50 feet of me, and I screamed at him, and he decided to take off. And then we ran into another one about a mile up from there. But other than that, it's really been just kind of keep the nose of the grindstone and keep the feet going.
Excellent. Well, I hope the next few days go easy for you guys.
I think that they will. This is my backyard. I know these roads really, really well. So, I think and it's going to be great. In 2 days, Sheriff Doug Benoist, one of my favorite sheriffs of all time, is going to meet me in Mariposa and walk through Mariposa with me. I love that guy. He's just a great sheriff. Constitutional sheriff, and then after that we finish that day, Saturday. I think we're only 12 miles out of Oakhurst, so we have a very short day on Sunday. So it's only really a half day. We'll be done probably by noon.
All right, you get into some narrower roads there towards Oakhurst too, though.
Yeah, well, we've kind of dealt with that the whole way. We're we get pretty good. We have 4 radios. We have 4 chase vehicles. So we stage people back. The walker, obviously, we can jump to one side of the road or the other pretty quickly. And so we have somebody stay back about a quarter of a mile and then about 500 feet, and we call out the vehicles. And we actually call out the color, and, it's a white Toyota sedan, followed by a green pickup or whatever it is. And so the walker can get into the ditch if they have to, or, climb over the bank or whatever it takes until those vehicles pass. And then exactly how much time you have, because where your chase vehicles are. And so it's worked out really, really well. We haven't had any close calls other than that one Prius incident, and that's really it. And then, we're talking tens of thousands of vehicles that have gone by us.
Right.
Yeah.
So the conclusion is on Sunday. What time do you guys think you'll be getting to Oakhurst, and where can people meet up with you after walk there?
Well, we contacted the Rayleighs in Oakhurst, and they're going to let us use their parking lot, and that's where everybody's going to congregate, is at the Rayleighs parking lot. And I think we get there at, I'm going to say it's probably right around noon. Knowing, how fast we walk between 2.5 and 3 miles an hour, and so that puts us there right at about noon. And then, like I said, Tuesday at 1 o'clock is the rally at the state capitol, and that's, if they can't make the finish at Oakhurst, we'd really, really like them at the capitol. We've got some guest speakers, and I'm going to be speaking there as well as I think 3 or 4 others. And we need to let these politicians know that we're going to unite here. And crap, the gig is up, man.
Mm-hmm. And Tuesday at the Capitol, that was the South Lawn at 1 p.m., correct?
That's correct. Tuesday the 27th at 1 p.m. South Lawn. We were going to have everybody bring an American flag. Well, there's no reason to bring one now because we've got 2,000 American flags. So if you need one, we got one. We'll give you.
Perfect. Of course, I'm sure Shannon and Amra would like to thank the donator of the flags as well, but we would as well.
Yeah, as a matter of fact,
for
we
donating
actually
all
bought
the flags.
them ourselves. We bought all those flags. We got a heck of a deal with on them, and they're small, but of course, there's all these darn restrictions that the state capitol says you can't have a stick, and this and that. You can't have a sign bigger than X, and so we just said, screw it. We're just going to buy the dang flags, and we'll pass them out to everybody, and then that way, we won't have any problems. So.
Well, and everybody's unified with the same flag. That'll send a stronger message, I think.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Well, excellent. Well, we hope everybody can get out there to see you in Oakhurst or at the state capitol. I think the capitol's the more important event to make.
Yeah, I agree with you there. The state capitol is really where we want everybody to show up. So, but we've, like I said, we've had overwhelming support. It's been very humbling ever since the minute that we started walking until tonight. It's really cool. Even my neighbors pulling in to my little house here came up to me right before you called, and we went on the air. And said, hey, and I didn't even know she was on Facebook. She's like, oh my gosh, you must be so tired. I've been following you on Facebook. And, for every person that likes the videos and things like that, there's probably 10 more that don't click anything. And so you don't see those numbers. But it sounds like that's probably the case. So it's a big movement. And I'm very proud of all the guys and girls, actually, that helped on this and, got us to where we are. So. Can't wait to see my wife and dogs, though. I miss them.
Well, and I'm sure she's looking forward to not receiving a Super Grover.
Yes, she's not going to get the Super Grover. But,
excellent.
Yeah.
Well, perfect. I know you're tired and you have need to get your rest for the continuation of the walk, but we'd like to thank you for coming on with us this evening, and we'll just hope everybody gets out there on Tuesday for you. This will air on Saturday, so all our listeners can have the information ahead of time.
Fantastic. Well, shoot me the link to that as well, John, and we'll post that for you guys, and we'll see if we can't bring some listeners to it, and maybe in the long term they'll just all start tuning in. But I do want to say thank you sincerely for having me on tonight. I greatly appreciate it, and it was good talking to you guys.
Oh, no, we want to thank you for coming on. We're all liberty-minded individuals. Our listeners are as well, and we all need to stick together and make this thing happen and turn the tide of our state.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, and have a wonderful night.
Thank you,
all
Shannon.
right, buddy. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Jefferson Liberty Radio. You can get in touch with us, email us at feedback@jeffersonlibertyradio.com or via our website at jeffersonlibertyradio.com. You can also leave us a voicemail at 209-214-8099. That's 209-214-4089. We'd love to hear your questions and comments. Don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes or your podcast player of choice. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Google Play, or your podcast player of choice. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review where you can. We'd really appreciate it, and it actually does help our ratings. You can find us on all the typical social media, Twitter, Facebook, even some alternative media such as BitChute and Gab. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Jefferson Liberty Radio, and we'll catch you next time. Jefferson Liberty Radio is a production of Forgotten Liberty Media. The views expressed by the host or guests throughout the various episodes may not necessarily reflect the views of Forgotten Liberty Media as a company.